Welcome to Perspectives El Paso. I'm Leon Blevins, Professor of Government at El Paso Community College. This is early October of 2015. In fact, it's about October the 4th, I think, somewhere in there. October the 2nd, just a couple of days ago, I turned 78 years of age. I was born in 1937 during the Great Depression. Things were very difficult. During that period of time, Franklin Roosevelt was president, and the Congress and they pushed through a new program called Social Security. Now, for today's program, we're not going to have a history lesson necessarily about Social Security. Several years ago, I think it was 2008, I had a guest on this show named Ray Vigil, and I was recently at a Grandparents' Day program here in this building at Community College, and was performing as Uncle Sam. And Ray motioned for me to come over to his table. A vendor's table was set up, and we greeted one another, remembered each other, and he said, I need to be on your show again and talk about some updates about Social Security. I said, well, that's good because I'm looking for guests right now, and here we are today. Now, Ray, I'm glad I saw you.
Glad to see you again.
At that event. Yeah. You applauded a little bit for all of us that were performing. We had a great time that day.
We sure did.
And now we're going to get serious, and we're going to talk about Social Security. Tell me a little bit about your background. You're from El Paso. Where did you go to school? Why did you get into this field?
Well, I'm from El Paso, born in the Lower Valley. I went to elementary school in San Elizario, Texas, and then, of course, at that time, we didn't have a high school there, so graduated from high school from Clint, Texas. And then, of course, I was fortunate to actually get a job with the Federal Bureau of Investigations initially with the federal government. I worked there for about a year in Washington, D.C. Then I moved back to El Paso, and that's when I started working for the Social Security Administration.
Okay.
So I've been with the Social Security Administration since June of 1973. In the meantime, I also took a communications class with the University of South Carolina. And so I've been doing different roles with the Social Security Administration since 1973. Present job that I'm doing as a public affairs specialist, I actually started in 2001.
Okay.
So I've been doing this job for at least a good 14 years already.
Okay, if you're in public affairs, then tell us about the structure of Social Security and the different aspects of Social Security for these people that have been putting money into it. If they've been employed at all, the employer's been putting some money in, they've been putting some money in. What are these agencies within your purview that we're dealing with under Social Security?
Well, Social Security is a little complicated because when individuals are actually working, they're paying into different parts of the program, okay? The individual themselves pays 7.65% into Social Security, and it's matched by the employer. You buy protection for retirement benefits, you buy protection for disability benefits, survivor's benefits in the event of your death, and for Medicare benefits, okay? If you're self-employed, it becomes a little bit more complicated because of the fact that you're actually assuming the responsibility of the employer portion and the employee portion. So you pay twice the 7.65%. Okay. And of course, Social Security, as you were mentioning, you were born in 1937.
Right.
Okay. Social Security just recently celebrated its 80th birthday, anniversary. August the 14th is when Social Security actually started the program. So we're 80 years old also. So.
Well, you've held up pretty well to be 80 years old as an
But
institution.
the program has.
Okay, now aren't there questions? I keep hearing politicians talking about this, that Social Security is going to die, or we need to put the money in a lockbox to protect Social Security. What about this? Is Social Security in trouble?
No, so it's kind of confusing when the media talks about Social Security as running bankrupt, going bankrupt. Social Security is funded by general tax dollars that individual actually pay into Social Security contributions of their earnings. We have the monies that are currently coming in, okay, and then we have the reserves, monies that we have built or the trust funds have actually earned during the years, and then of course we have interest that those monies are actually earning. So when the media says Social Security is running out of funds, they're basically talking about the fact that our reserves are being depleted by the fact that we have more individuals actually receiving Social Security benefits compared to individuals paying into the system.
Right.
Okay, we currently have over 60 million individuals that are currently receiving Social Security benefits on a monthly basis. At the moment, because of the fact that we're already in the baby boomer generation, we have 10,000 individuals applying for Social Security benefits on a daily basis. So based on the last report that was released by the Board of Trustees, putting all the facts and numbers together, we still have the capability to guarantee and assure the general public that is receiving Social Security benefits that we will pay 100% of all the Social Security benefits up to the year 2034.
Okay.
If legislators were not to do anything to realign the programs, which they have since the program was enacted, we would still have the capability to pay 79 cents to the dollar to all individuals receiving Social Security benefits. But I can assure you that within the next couple of years, if not within the next year, legislators are going to sit down and figure out what changes they have to introduce to the Social Security programs to assure the general public that benefits will be there for all generations to come.
Okay, now what are the updates you need to tell us about?
Well, the first update that we need to do is, of course, confirm and reassure the individuals that based on the last report that was released by the Board of Trustees, we're funded solidly up to the year 2034 and even beyond that, okay? Second, of course, there's conversations about changes that are being proposed as to how is the program going to be aligned. Of course, the present program will still work for individuals that are within 15 years of age to qualify for Social Security benefits. Mm-hmm. If any changes are introduced to the Social Security program, it's going to affect the younger generations, okay? Updates, of course, the cost of living, we still haven't heard. We're very close to the month that general information is sent out as to the cost of living increase for 2016. At this time, we still don't know if there's going to be a cost of living increase. Depends on how the economy actually performs. Mm-hmm. It's based on the consumer price index, and that determines whether there's going to be a cost of living and how much the cost of living increase is going to be. Okay. One of the things that we're working with the general public right now is we introduce, and I'm sure you've already created your account on our Social Security website. Mm-hmm. If you already receive Social Security benefits, there's a lot of business that you can actually take care of without going to the Social Security office. If you want to do a change of address, change of direct deposit, telephone number, or you need a letter for financial purposes or housing purposes as to how much you receive from Social Security, or you need to verify your Medicare eligibility, you don't have to call an 800 number. You don't have to go to a Social Security office. You can do that directly from the Social Security website.
Okay, I should put in a personal note here.
Right.
When my wife, Shanna Blevins, retired from teaching with the public school system, the El Paso district, I think it was 1999. Uh-huh. And she had an insurance program with them, Aetna. And then when she retired, she got on Medicare, and that became her primary, and then Aetna became a secondary. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to be retiring next June. That will be June of 2016. Our healthcare here, United Healthcare. And then I assume the same thing will be happening here. I'll be working through the benefits department. I'm already in Medicare. Because I reached a certain age at which I was supposed to declare. I think that was 72 and a half or something.
Oh, 65 years of age.
Oh, 65 years.
Yeah.
But then, what was it, at 72 something that I had to make sure the paperwork was done. Anyway, whatever all of those things were, we took care of it through your office. And so I'm already on Medicare. Now, Medicare is not Social Security.
No, Medicare and Social Security are two different entities altogether. And the way that we actually assume responsibility of the Medicare program is that the Social Security Administration is actually responsible for educating and making sure that individuals are enrolled under the Medicare program. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we administer the collection of any premiums or fees related to the participation under the Medicare program.
Okay, so I have a card right now that says I'm on Part A, which is hospital coverage. Mm-hmm. And then when I fully retired, it would go Part A and Part B.
Part A being the hospitalization, okay. And of course, you're not paying for the hospitalization because you are eligible for Social Security benefits. As long as you have 10 years or more paying into the system, you're not responsible for any premiums for your hospitalization. That's why when you turn 65 years of age, you signed up for the premium-free hospitalization. Once you get ready to retire, Medicare will give you an 8-month enrollment period. You have a window of 8 months to actually sign up for Part B Medicare. And typically, for an individual that turns 65 years of age and they do not sign up for Part B Medicare, there's a penalty involved for late enrollment. It's a 10% penalty for every 12 months for individuals that do not sign up for Part B Medicare. But there's a provision in the Medicare law that says that if you were still gainfully employed when you were 65 years of age and covered through your employer's insurance plan, Medicare will give you a window of 8 months to sign up for Part B Medicare without any penalties for late enrollment. We will ask you to contact the Social Security Administration, and you really don't have to contact the Social Security Administration anymore because you go to the Social Security website, socialsecurity.gov. You fill out the form for enrollment under Part B Medicare, and also at the same time there is a form there that you will actually submit to your employer, to the benefits coordinator, and they will confirm that yes, at 65 years of age you were still gainfully employed and covered through their employer group health plan, and that's going to provide us the opportunity to enroll you under Part B Medicare without any penalties for
Okay, we need to put this on the screen. The website that people need to go to, socialsecurity.gov.
www.socialsecurity.gov. And then you go, once you get to the home portal, the home page, you will scroll down and you will see their publications and forms. Click on forms and you will find all the forms that are readily available for you to actually download and fill out and submit to Social Security.
Okay. Another question comes up on that one. Do you want to give a telephone number?
Yes.
A local office telephone number?
Local office number is 866, it's a toll-free number, 866-593-0939.
Okay, good. We want to get that out there. One other thing, my wife for years worked with these deaf children and their families, and I remember sometimes she would take them to an SSI office to get some kind of benefits. That's also one of these under kind of the umbrella part of it. It's not Social Security, but it's under Social Security to a degree. How does that work?
That is correct. Supplemental Security Income, SSI as an acronym, is a need basis program administered by the Social Security Administration. It is not funded by your Social Security tax dollars. It is funded by general revenue, other tax dollars. Basically a program that is available for the elderly and the disabled. So if you are 65 years of age and older, a U.S. citizen or a legal resident of the United States that has worked at least 10 years paying into Social Security, and you're limited in income, limited in resources, you are potentially eligible to qualify for that program. And of course, we also extend the eligibility of this program to disabled individuals at any age. Whether you're an adult or a minor, as long as you're under a disability that keeps you from being able to perform any services, any work, and you're limited in income, limited in resources, this program is also available to you.
Now, you had an article just recently in a local publication, I can't remember, was it the Spotlight, where you talked about the disabled being on some kind of benefits? And so that would be of interest. I have another question for the young people before our time is gone.
Sure.
A couple of years ago, I heard on the public radio in my automobile that college students' loans cannot be declared off in bankruptcy proceedings, that they still have to repay those loans, those student loans. And then I heard this about a year ago on the car radio as I'm going to my campus, was that a law had been passed that said that a student who has not paid off their student loan could have some of their Social Security money taken out when they reach the age they can get Social Security. They could lose some of that to go back to the government paying off default on a loan. Are you aware of this?
Well, this is one of the things that the federal government actually has the authority to actually do. If an individual owns any other federal loans and they are receiving Social Security benefits, they can actually make adjustments against the Social Security benefits towards those outstanding loans. So yes, it's in the best interest of individuals to actually clear those student loans and any other federal loan that they own, because it could affect their payments when they do become eligible for Social Security, retirement, and disability benefits.
That's very frightening, because the very time they need that money, it could be taken out of their Social Security.
And that's true, and this is why you have to take the responsibility to make sure that everything is in place. So when you do qualify for Social Security benefits, same thing with individuals that receive Social Security benefits in their younger years because perhaps they were dependent on their parents, okay, or perhaps they were receiving a disability benefit, then they were taking off the disability rolls, and then later they become eligible for retirement benefits. If there is an outstanding overpayment on their Social Security account, and it has never been liquidated, never has been cleared, when they become eligible for Social Security benefits again, we're going to actually make the adjustments against those benefits before we send any monies to those individuals. So it's very important that if they owe any monies, whether it be to the Social Security Office or administration or to any other federal entity, that they try to clear those debts before they qualify for benefits, because there is an authority there that allows the federal government to actually garnish their Social Security benefits.
Wow, I need to say to our community college students who have student loans, or even UTEP and so on, pay attention to this, because your future is out there with regard to these current student loans.
And of course, there's a provision in the law that says that if they've been paying a student loan for over 10 years, that the federal government will actually forgive those federal student loans, if I understand that correctly.
Okay.
So,
Well, let me compliment your staff. I know when my wife went on Social Security and you and your office worked through my particular situation back then, we were treated very well, and so I want to compliment you and your staff for working with El Paso in the community, and in a bilingual community especially, with all the conflicts and controversies that we have with regard to money. That I do compliment you.
well, thank you so much, and I'll go ahead and extend that compliment to the staff here in El Paso. Of course, we do. That is the primary goal, to provide the best customer service that we can to individuals, and we offer the services in English and in Spanish, and even the electronic services that we now extend to the general public through our website. We offer individuals the opportunity to file for retirement, disability, Medicare benefits, extra help if they're limited in income to where they cannot pay for the prescription help. They can apply for those services in English as well as in Spanish.
Well, I have some students that sometimes they'll talk about welfare, and they hear all the controversies about welfare and welfare reform. And sometimes they'll talk about Social Security being a welfare program. You want to answer that?
Well, Social Security is not a welfare program.
That's
because
what I tell them.
It's an insurance program which you actually buy protection, as we generally, when we opened the conversation, we talked about contributing to the Social Security program. So you're buying this insurance protection. You're buying insurance protection for retirement, disability, and survivors and Medicare. And of course, the younger generations, when you go out in the community and you talk about Social Security, they say, well, Social Security is not for me, okay? Not realizing that Social Security is more than a retirement program. We are a disability insurance, okay? At any point, any time, because of an illness or an accident, something might happen to you. You're not going to be able to work anymore because of that physical, mental, or visual impairment. Social Security is there to protect you, protect you and your family. Because as far as Social Security, not only the worker himself or herself receive benefits or compensation, dependent children under the age of 18 or 18 to 19 going to high school, dependent spouses, surviving spouses are potentially eligible to receive Social Security benefits also.
On my way to this conversation, just as I was fixing to leave the building at Valle Verde, one of my former students from last semester was helping a blind man, totally blind man, walk down the hall. And the young lady indicated she's now working with the Disability Service this semester. She introduced me to this fella, and he said that he's registered for my class for next semester. And in the conversation we had, and he showed me his piece of paper, he had it in hand, that he is really registered for my class. And he told me that he did not go blind until he was 21 years of age. I haven't had time to really visit with him much, but I'm sure he never anticipated that he was going to go blind and have to be out there with the world trying to find help And this is what this is about, Social Security and disability things.
Right, yeah. I mean, regardless of your age, okay, you are required to have so many credits to qualify for any evaluation based on your medical evidence, okay? Because the simple fact that an individual works and pays into Social Security doesn't guarantee them a disability compensation. Depending on your age, and if we're talking about an individual that is younger than 24 years of age, all they need is 1.5 years in the last 3 years before they became disabled for us to look at their medical evidence, okay? And we're looking for somebody that became disabled between 24 years of age and 31 years of age. They must have worked and paid into Social Security at least half of the time between the time that they turned 24 and the time they became disabled. If we're talking about an individual who became disabled 31 years of age or older, then they need at least 10 years of having worked and paid into Social Security. That allows us to gather all the medical information to determine if they're going to qualify for disability benefits or not. If they meet the earnings criteria and they meet the definition of disability, then they're going to be assured that they will receive some sort of compensation from us on a monthly basis.
Well, I was talking to a young man recently who has a mental illness. You can't see the illness, but it is a mental illness. We hear about all kinds of mental illnesses. And he just recently, he applied for Social Security disability, but then he had to go before a judge to deal with that. A lawyer, he contacted a lawyer. The lawyer dealt with the paperwork, and he went before a judge. But when he went before the judge, it was done on Skype. I think the judge might have been in San Antonio. And so they were communicating, and the way that this young man was acting, the judge commented about what he perceived just from seeing him on the other end of the communications.
Yeah, we do have video conferencing at the hearing level, okay? And basically, when an individual files for Social Security disability benefits, if the evidence is substantial enough to support that they are disabled, their case will be approved, then we will send them a determination as to how much they're going to receive on a monthly basis. If for some reason the medical evidence does not support that this individual is disabled to the extent that he can no longer work, then we will send them a notice of disapproval. And the general public should know that they have 60 days to file an appeal on that decision. And they should not let the 60 days elapse because of the fact that if they do, then they have to start all over again. And they're losing potential benefits, retroactive benefits.
Well, they could, I suppose, start all over again if they're denied, but then maybe 2 or 3 years go by, and then more evidence is coming, the disability has become more severe, then they could reapply.
They could reapply at any time, okay? But then, of course, they lost the possibility of retroactive Social Security benefits and Medicare benefits, because once you're approved for Social Security disability and you've been on the disability program for 2 years, on the 25th month of your disability, then you become eligible for Medicare even though you're not 65 years of age.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
As well as for individuals that are under a chronic renal disease and they have to undergo dialysis, regardless of their age, as long as they have 10 years paid into the system, they too would be eligible for Medicare prior to the age of 65.
Okay. We have a few minutes remaining. Are there any other areas that I have overlooked in asking questions or things you wanted to update us on?
Well, the only thing that I want to emphasize again is the fact how important it is to actually create your user account on our website. Remember the statements that individuals used to get on their birthdays with all the projections as to what their Social Security benefits would be at 65 years of age or 62 or 70 years of age. We did away with those statements in 2011 because of the fact that it was costing the administration $70 million to send those statements on a yearly basis. So in 2011, we actually brought it into the electronic age. So now an individual can actually register, create an account on our Social Security website, and pull the same statement that they used to get through the mail on a yearly basis with all the projections as to what their Social Security benefits are going to be at full retirement age, whether it be 66 or 67, 70 years of age, or 62 years of age if they want to start early. And of course, it gives them all the instructions as to how to file for Medicare and Social Security benefits. Most important, identity theft is growing by numbers, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. So this is one way that individuals can actually look at their Social Security record to find out if anybody has compromised their Social Security record for work purposes. They compare their personal earnings statements to the Social Security record. If everything agrees, then their record is safe. Okay, but if they see that the Social Security statement shows inflated earnings compared to their W-2 form, somebody has already compromised their Social Security number and is working with their Social Security number.
First time I heard that happen from someone in class was about 15 years ago. A girl said that her Social Security had been stolen and it had compromised her credit and all those kind of
Yeah,
things.
and it's not slowing down. It's growing more and more popular. Individuals are trying to use somebody else's Social Security number because, one, they want to avoid paying taxes. Okay. Two, they have bad credit and they can apply for credit on their own. So there's several reasons that they want to do that. The second most important thing, the reason that you want to actually review your statement on a yearly basis is the accuracy of your Social Security record, because that's how we determine how much an individual receives from Social Security, whether it be retirement, disability, or survivor's benefits for your survivors. Okay. So if you're missing a couple of years of earnings, when we determine how much they're going to receive on a monthly basis, it's not going to be accurate. So you want to make sure that every year you review your record, make sure that all the earnings are credited properly, because that's how we're going to determine how much you receive or your dependents or survivors will receive on your Social Security record.
Okay, we have about less than 3 minutes to go. This question about, we're going to the electronic age.
Right.
We have some poor people in colonias. How do you document those? They can't go to that website and check these things. You still do mailings to people that are in those situations?
Well, the mailings were generated again November of 2014, and we're now sending those on 5-year intervals. Okay, so we send them out on your 45th, your 50th, 55th birthday.
Oh, okay.
Once you're 60, then we'll send them on a regular basis. Okay, but one of the things that I hear out in the community when I talk about the fact that you can now obtain a lot of information and do a lot of business with us electronically is we don't have a computer.
Right.
Okay, we don't have internet services, or we don't know how to use the computer or internet. Well, in today's society, in today's world, all your grandkids, all your kids know how to use all the technology. And if you don't have a computer at home or internet services, the general public can actually use the computers at the public libraries. Here in El Paso, we have, I think, about 12 or 13 different locations. They have over 500 computers that are available to the general public where they can actually do business with them. Okay, we work very closely with the public libraries here in El Paso and all over the state. Second, of course, if they want to create an account or basically file for retirement, disability, or Medicare benefits, and they don't have a computer or internet services, at the local Social Security offices, and we have one at 600 Texas Avenue, we have the other one at 11111 Gateway West. We offer computers with internet service to the general public. They don't have to sit down and talk to a representative. All they have to do is go walk into the Social Security office, say, I want to apply for Social Security benefits, and if they're capable, we lend them the facilities there to actually submit the information electronically.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
You know, this is probably the most useful interview I've had this semester. And I'm on about interview number 14 or 15 or something. And we have really covered some good material that the public needs to know about.
Great.
Well, I want you to know that we're glad that you joined us today for this very important program on Social Security with Ray Vigil. Thanks, Ray.
Thank you.